Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello.
Today you see before you a unit of spearmen from our Lavonian order. These are sergeants from the Fireforge Sergeant's box. They're painted up mainly in red. All the cloth is white, but the gambeson and the other armour is all painted in red. The leather armour is painted in red. The shields are painted in the symbol of the Lavonian order, and as with all my figures, they're covered in mud and dirt and stuff, and I think that looks quite good. You might like this figure here because he's got an axe embedded in his shield, because some nasty, evil Russians come up to him and slammed an axe in his shield. I just thought that looked quite good. Yeah. With your Swedes, I'm actually doing some arrows stuck in the shields.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, I'm going to have fun with arrows. So yeah, these troops are spearmen, so they're going to be usually slightly better trained than the average sergeant, because spearmen have to be trained to fight in close order with all the spears going the right way, and you get drilled in how to use spears and things. So these troops tend to be slightly better trained. Not much use in really bad terrain. Spearmen have to really operate in the open, preferably. That's the best positioning for them. Every man will carry a sword for close defence, so if you lose your spear, you draw your sword. If you're down to the point where you're fighting with a sword, you're probably thinking about how to get out of here, because things are starting to go wrong. Although one thing that the Germanic knights of all the Germanic orders did, they used to smear the sort of from where you hold the spear to the top with bear fat.
Why?
So no one could grab the spear. So if you tried to grab the spear, your hand would just slip off it.
And you put your hand over.
Yeah. So I should guess if these troops marched past you, they'd smell quite badly. You wouldn't want to be near them anyway. Not on a sunny day anyway. In winter it might not be too bad. Not sure how much bear fat you get in winter actually. Does bear fat freeze?
No.
No? Oh yeah, okay then. I'm not sure what the freezing temperature of bear fat is. I wonder if they only use bear fat or whether or not they use like other fat as well.
Pig.
Pig, cow, wolf.
Whereas near human.
Well, that's the pagans. The pagans will be wiping human fat over everything, won't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, because of course, as we all know, pagans are evil and horrible.
Yeah.
Although some of these troops could possibly be pagan because they're fighting for the Lavonians. And the Lavonians were actually allied to several pagan tribes at one point or another. So the pagans would actually fight on the same side as the Lavonians as long as they were fighting against the same enemy, an enemy they both have. Yeah. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yep.
Yeah. Sooner or later you're going to end up with your head cut off anyway, but, you know, at least while you're fighting. And maybe if the Teutonic Order would have actually used that, then they would have defeated the greater enemy, wouldn't they? But, you know. I'm thinking of Count de Chevalier, when the Mongols were fighting against the Mamelukes, and the Mongols asked the Mamelukes to aid them. Sorry, the Mongols asked the knights to aid them, the Holy Order knights, to come down and fight alongside the Mongols. And the Holy Order knights said, "Nope, we're not going to help you because you're our enemy as well." And the Mongols were defeated, and not long after, the castle fell to the Mamelukes. So, there you go.
Yep.
And of course the Mongols didn't care what religion you had. And they didn't even do much around ruling over you either, so... Well, that's life. So, questions?
How effective were the spears?
Spears are very effective. You have the back rank of spearmen tend to have a slightly longer spear, generally. So the front rank fights with a spear that is the same length when both spears are aimed forwards. That's a typical Germanic type thing. So you have a solid wall of spears rather than layers of fish scale spears. Instead you have a solid wall of points. so they're quite good. And what they would generally do is they would march up to the enemy spearing away, and you would have troops equipped with axes and things as well in the rear, the figures we showed you in the last video, and they would come through and hack at the enemy shield wall to try and make a breach to push the spearmen through. Complicated fighting with spears.
Yeah, you might kill the guy behind you.
Yeah, and your biggest problem is if someone hangs on your spear, then your spear's going to go low and you're going to lose it.
Or it snaps.
Yeah, so you're having to deal with that, which is hence the bear fat, actually, which we mentioned at the beginning of the video. Your hands slip off. Next question?
Were these guys veteran? Or did the veteran troops get turned sergeants and like that?
The sergeant seems to mean soldier. Really? Oh, professional soldier. So the term sergeant refers to a professional soldier. The spearmen, as I said, tend to be better trained. They will probably be more veteran than the other infantry I showed you. Because they will actually be drilled soldiers, properly drilled soldiers. Not that the other troops can't be, they can be drilled as well. Look at the Romans. They fought entirely with sword. They didn't use spears, they all used swords, but they were drill troops. But in the medieval
they
period,
used a special kind of sword, which was very effective.
a gladius, yes, which isn't a close defence weapon, it's an assault weapon. Because it stab. You can't do that with a sword.
You can't lose your sword in the corpse.
Yeah, you can stab one of the swords that the Crusaders would have worn, the sergeants would have used, would be a personal defence weapon, and it would really be for knocking away blows, knocking away spear thrusts and things. As a stabby weapon, it's not particularly good, and as a offensive weapon, it's not that good either, because it's just not heavy enough to really do any damage. So if you're fighting against someone with armour, a standard sword carried by a sergeant isn't going to do anything to him. You just batter away at his helmet. It's not heavy enough to actually do any real damage. You could certainly knock someone off, knock someone over, or possibly break someone's arm if you're lucky, if he hasn't got a shield blocking it. But you need a really heavy blade to really do damage, hence the big two-handed swords. Or if you want to actually do some stabbing, then you need a short sword, which is different. Next question?
That's it.
So that's basically it. Not really much to say about it. Spearmen would be deployed usually in the centre of the army.
Yes, that's what happened.
Yeah, that's the usual place you would place your spearmen, rank upon rank of spearmen, and they would have knights in between. Right, so that's it. Outro.
So if you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think of the Lavonian spearmen.
Yeah,
that's it from me.
Lavonian Sergeant Spearman. Right. And everything from him. Goodbye.
See ya.